to today's live session for World Sleep Day, where we are celebrating sleep health, prioritizing sleep health. I'm Marta Carlo. I am the founder of the International Parenting and Health Institute. I am also the author of Awakening Through Sleep, a transformational and spiritual guide for pregnancy, adult, and child sleep. I also am the author of The Baby Planner Profession, What You Need to Know, and Green Body, Green Birth. It is a pleasure for me to be here with all of you today. One of the things that I recognize more and more, especially today, is that while we understand how vital sleep is, it's still put on the back burner. There are so many other aspects of health and lifestyle that are placed above sleep. And sleep really is a foundation that cannot be overlooked and put on the back burner. So today I'm going to provide you a presentation on how you can make sleep health a priority with some really great tips. And these tips are not just your normal tips, okay? You hear all the tips. Some of them you're going to hear, but I'm going to take it somewhere that you may not have expected. Before I go there though, I am going to introduce to you my team. I'm going to see if they are coming on. Just give me one moment. And we have a team of instructors that I have chosen on behalf of the work that I do. And they represent our program, our holistic pregnancy and child sleep consultant certification program, as well as our integrative adult sleep coach certification program in other languages. Okay, one moment here because I am on this stream, but I don't see any guests here yet. All right, while we are waiting for them to come on, let's go ahead and talk about why prioritize sleep health. Sleep is a foundation of overall well-being. It impacts your mental clarity, your mood, immunity, your overall health, every aspect of your life, even your relationships, just everything, your work, your productivity. When you have chronic sleep deprivation, it's linked to heart disease, obesity, diabetes, weakened immunity. Also, your state of clarity, making decisions. You're unclear most times. You find yourself having ADHD. Even if you haven't been diagnosed, you find yourself with those qualities. You might find yourself disassociating. You might find yourself unmotivated. So when you have this chronic sleep deprivation, all of these things happen. And what is even more important to be aware of is that if you've had chronic sleep deprivation, it could be that you're so used to it, you're not fully aware of it. You've just put up with it for so long and you've settled with it for so long that it might seem very normal to you. And one of the ways you can begin evaluating that is start evaluating every aspect of your life. Begin asking yourself, how am I in my relationships? How am I with my work productivity? How do I feel overall in general with my life? Your energy, your mood, your decision making, your clarity. This is a great way to begin recognizing where you're at. Good sleep, optimal sleep supports emotional resilience, cognitive function, and physical performance. Now let's look at some tips to prioritize sleep. Can you guess which one I'm going to start with first? This is number one. Before anything, before you go into sleep hygiene, before you start making all those health and lifestyle changes, this is number one. Can you guess what that is? And by the way, please feel free to write in your comments where you are tuning in from. If you're in from another country, another city or state, I'd love that. And if you currently are experiencing sleep challenges, feel free to put those in the comments. I would love to hear from you. All right, let's get to the first tip to prioritize your sleep health, and that's shifting your mindset. I talked about this a little bit before, where the mindset usually is that sleep is on the back burner. If you don't get no sleep, no big deal. You're a warrior. You can get through this. However, sleep, as I mentioned, is an essential pillar of your health. It's vital in every aspect of your life. It's not a luxury. It's not something to be proud of. At the same time, it's not something to be overly concerned with if you don't get a good night's sleep. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But most importantly, it's just understanding that it's an essential part of your health, just as important as exercise, just as important as nutrition. And it leads to better productivity, energy, and overall happiness. Begin asking yourself, what are my beliefs and thoughts about sleep? Do I really feel that sleep is something I can place on the back burner? So become very honest with yourselves. How are you viewing sleep right now? So, shifting your mindset, this will be the catalyst and the foundation to support the changes that you can make every day. Now, let's talk about some of the most common tips that you are going to hear. Well, this first one, I actually don't often hear. And by the way, I keep turning my head because I'm doing a live on YouTube and on LinkedIn and on Facebook, as well as the Instagram. So I'm working with two different cameras here, and that's why you'll see me turn back and forth. For those of you on Instagram, my computer is right here and the screen is right there for everybody else. Okay. Now, this is something that I generally also do not see being spoken about when it comes to sleep tips. The other ones I'm going to go through in a bit are more common and you'll hear about a little bit more. But this specific one, in addition to mindset, is often overlooked, which is know your body to prioritize your sleep health. Know your body. One of the most empowering steps to prioritize your sleep health is to get to know your body from the inside out. With all these tips going around and all this information, you can take those in, and that's wonderful. They're valuable in and of themselves, but do they necessarily apply to you? You need to know what's going on specifically with yourself in order to provide yourself the best optimal solutions. Okay. So if you're struggling with sleep, it might be due to an underlying nutrition deficiency or an imbalance, for example, with low levels like magnesium, vitamin D, iron, or B vitamins, which can significantly impact your ability to fall and stay asleep. Not knowing this information can take you around in circles. You might be trying other tips that are not necessarily best for you when you have other underlying issues that you could be paying attention to if you knew what was going on with your body. So get your lab work done. When was the last time you got your lab work done? Check for any deficiencies or hormonal imbalances that could be affecting your rest and come up with those questions with your medical practitioner. Ask them, say, I'm struggling with sleep or I'm really working toward optimal sleep and I'd like to get some lab work done and see what nutritional deficiencies and what imbalances may be going on in my body that I should be aware of. Okay. Once you know what your body needs, you can make informed changes through nutrition, through supplements, or lifestyle shifts that support better sleep specifically for you. And that's the key. It's specifically for you, customized for you. Okay. Remember, when your body is nourished and balanced, it naturally aligns with healthier sleep cycles. I'm also going to say that this applies to child sleep and to parents specifically and breastfeeding mothers. Oftentimes, when people resort to child sleep, there's so much focus on the child, naturally so. But when the mom is breastfeeding and that postpartum phase, there's not enough emphasis placed on the mother's nutrition, on the mother's lifestyle, on the mother's mental well being, because that does influence her sleep cycle and her natural attuning to her child. And children pick up on energy. We all do. We know that. You can walk into a room and someone's really upset. They don't have to say anything. You feel that. So when it comes to child sleep, it's not just about the child sleep cycle. It's about the parent's sleep cycle and how that parent is showing up for their child just as much. Sleep isn't just about routines. It's about understanding what your body truly needs to rest well. So you want to start with awareness. You'll be on the right path to deeper and more restorative sleep. Now we're going to get to some of the common tips. Getting sunlight exposure during the day. Did you know that it is estimated that around 40% of US adults and 50% of the world's population do not get enough sunlight? That's a huge percentage. Okay, that's almost 1 out of 2 people, leading to vitamin D deficiency. Natural light exposure helps to regulate your internal body clock, so it's vital. You want to aim for at least 15 to 30 minutes of sunlight in the morning. Now, if you're living in an area that doesn't get sunlight when you wake up, or you're in a work situation when you're not able to get sunlight, then speak to a professional, a qualified professional, about getting a sun lamp and how that works and what's best for you. Because getting that morning light is vital to support the process in your body. Okay, that really just jumpstarts everything. Nutrition. So, one of the things that I enjoy doing with my work is opening up and expanding the perspective of how we use language. Language plays a key role to our actions, how we feel about ourselves, and the actions that we take. When I train the professionals that come to study with us at the International Parenting Health Institute, so if they're enrolled in any of our certification programs, I talk about language. For example, oftentimes the tips that you read or hear are avoid heavy meals, avoid, right? Get rid of, don't do this. The better option is not to say avoid or don't do, it's replace, substitute. Why is that? Because naturally, as human beings, we want freedom, we want choices. Limitation doesn't feel good. Avoiding something doesn't feel good. It's almost confrontational. So, in order to make this path easier for ourselves toward change, simply by replacing something doesn't mean you're getting rid of something, doesn't mean you're avoiding something. You're not putting a limitation. You're just replacing and substituting for a better option. So, for example, you would replace heavy meals with lighter meals. You would substitute caffeine for decaf. You would substitute alcohol with a mocktail, right? You would do this 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. Another example is just drinking. So just add it in. You don't even have to add replace or substitute, etc. But just drink a soothing caffeine-free tea like chamomile or peppermint. Familiarize yourself with anti and pro sleep foods. How many of you know about anti and pro sleep foods? Were you aware that there was such a thing? And did you know that there are actually some really what's considered healthy foods that are anti-sleep foods, okay, that they're called nightshade foods? So begin researching, familiarize yourself with those anti and pro sleep foods. For the purposes of this large presentation today, I'm not going to go into those details, but you can definitely follow us at Parenting Health Institute. You can also visit us at parentinghealthinstitute.com and look at our articles on our website where I have tons of this information so you can learn more. And if you want to personally follow me in my journey, I am Mar DeCarlo, and you can follow me at Mar_DeCarlo, DeCarlo. All right. So now, besides the anti and pro sleep food, you're also ensuring that you're properly hydrating your body throughout the day, because hydration is also vital as part of this process. Creating a sleep-friendly environment. Environment can make or break us. Environments can feel very stressful or they can feel very calming. Think of your home and especially your bedroom environment like a spa. Nice and cool, but not too cool, not too hot, just a temperature that feels really comfortable for you to soothe into. So generally it's between 65 and 68 degrees, give or take. There's some different recommendations for aging adults and also for children, but generally it's between 65 and 68. It's worth investing in optimal sleep mattress and pillows, being aware of natural materials and pillows, for example, that support your posture. So talk with different brands. Most of them are educated and have received all of the statistics on what works and what doesn't work in terms of the kinds of pillows and mattresses, and make sure that you're selecting ones that are right for you, because there are many different kinds and brands. Check your air quality and airflow. When you walk into your bedroom, does it feel stuffy? Does it feel overwhelming? Okay. Take a moment to close your eyes and just take a breath in. Does it feel good to breathe? If you have windows in your room, open them throughout the day, selectively, of course, when it's not overly windy or overly cold, but selectively open the windows, allow the airflow to come through. If you don't have windows, keep the door open for a good part of the day so you can allow that airflow to move in and out. And then start checking for clutter, because that clutter in your room also adds to the quality of the airflow and also to your stress levels. You want to be aware that humidity, bedding materials, and also the sleepwear can influence the ideal sleep temperature for each person, as well as your mood. Keep electronics as like phones, TVs, computers out of your bedroom while sleeping, and replace them. Replace them with books. Replace them with maybe a yoga block, a blanket, stuffy, something that just feels good that you can bring into your bedroom, where we talk about the bedtime ritual. We'll get into that in just a moment. You want to replace screen time. So, again, I'm using the word replace. Oftentimes, when people hear avoid screens before bed, then they're like, what am I going to do? They're left empty handed. So, we don't want to leave you empty handed. We're going to replace. Turn off electronic devices at least 1 hour before bedtime. Blue light from screens suppresses melatonin, delaying sleep. Now, you do have the nightshade mode on most telephones and laptops nowadays. However, we don't want to just rely on nightshade mode. Getting yourself into the habit of giving yourself at least an hour. And if it cannot be an hour, start with 30 minutes. Hey, start with 15 minutes. You can start small. Start with 15 minutes, increase to 20, increase to 30. Baby steps. But start to replace the screen time with something else that can support your transition into bed, that is not relying on that screen. But maybe you're doing a yoga pose for sleep. Maybe you're doing a meditation. We'll get into more of that, right? So calming activities like reading, journaling, meditation, a yoga for sleep pose, light stretching. Wind down with a bedtime routine. Engaging in relaxing activities like meditation, as I mentioned, even yoga nidra, breath work, a warm bath, listening to relaxing, calm music. Put a playlist together. Put a playlist for bedtime. What is your bedtime playlist? That can be a guided meditation. That can be calm music, but put together a playlist that you can prepare for and look forward to. Get excited about it. Again, imagine it like going to a spa. I'm going to my spa tonight. That is the perspective to sleep. It's not, oh, I have to go to sleep. Oh, I've got all this work to do. Oh, I got to go to sleep. No, it's, I get to go to sleep. I get to go into my cave of relaxation. I get to go into my spa and provide myself self-care. Parents, well, actually, let me finish this and I'm going to talk about this for parents. Aromatherapy. Be very cautious with aromatherapy. Be cautious with any other, let's say, supplements, right? If you're taking supplements for bedtime, sometimes people say, hey, you can take melatonin. Know your body, like I said in the very beginning. We're not all going through exactly the same thing internally. Know your body. Discuss it with your doctor, with a qualified professional who can guide you and share their perspective. Now, what I will say is get a second opinion from a naturopath and from an alternative doctor. So don't just only rely on a Western doctor, because I'm not sure how many of you were aware, but the average doctor only receives 4 to 6 hours of sleep education in medical school. And that sleep education that they receive is medically based. Health and lifestyle are not spoken about. Uncovering the root cause and what's getting in the way of every individual is not discussed. So when you are speaking with a qualified professional about aromatherapy, about any other supplementation that you're going to bring into your sleep space for yourself, get an opinion from an alternative doctor, someone who has expanded their knowledge beyond Western education, because they also will know more and will be very complementary to what you're wanting to achieve with your sleep. Practice gratitude journaling to ease stress and clear the mind, especially if you feel you have so much to do and you feel anxious because you haven't gotten through your to-do list and there's more to do tomorrow. Write it all down, get that just on paper, organize it, recognize how you're going to have a plan of action for that, and then begin your gratitude. What are the good things that have happened today? What can I be thankful for? And start to write those down and bring that gratitude energy with you to bedtime. Okay, that is how you're transitioning to sleep, because the energy that you are transitioning to sleep affects your sleep. Now let's talk about parents. Parents, you might have a newborn, toddler, young child, teenager. I've been through all these stages. I have a teen and a preteen, so I completely understand nighttime and what can happen at nighttime. And there can be a number of challenges that come along the way that you feel are very difficult to transition to bedtime. Keep in mind that this is like going to the gym, and you have an opportunity to build your muscles of resilience in your home and with your children. So, what that means is, what can you do in your home environment as you transition to bedtime to support calm energy, to support an environment where the temperature is cooler, where maybe you're dimming the lights, where noises, for example, blasting televisions, the volume begins to lower down. If you have a surround sound or a speaker, maybe you start playing classical or other kind of calm music. Okay. Begin to lead the way to set up the sleep environment as a calming environment, even without you having to say a word, especially for your older children, without having to say a word. Start to do that and see what happens within your space. Tune into yourself. How are you feeling? Are you anxious transitioning to bedtime? Are you not looking forward to it because you know it's going to go down and there's going to be some difficulties with your children going to sleep? Is that what's happening? So go within. Connect with your breath. Connect with your presence of your body. Trust that in that moment, connecting with your body and with your breath, that's going to begin to shift the energy and your perspective. And then together with that and your environment that you're setting up for that spa-like environment, you're going to start to notice a shift within your family dynamic. So before paying all the attention to your children and making the excuse that, oh, I can't sleep well because my child is having sleep issues, go back to yourself. Don't be afraid to go back to yourself. When you become honest with yourself and what you can do to respond in a more effective and optimal manner, you're going to be very surprised with the outcome. A consistent routine. I often hear people say, make sure you keep a consistent routine with the exact same bedtime, the exact same wake up time. And here's what I'm going to say. As close to the same time, as close to the same time, not the exact same time. People stress out so much about that. I'm going to talk about that in a moment with sleep trackers and data and just getting so worked up if you don't sleep well. As close to the same time. Nature is that way too. The sun doesn't rise and set exactly at the same second and time every day. You'll start to notice that it shifts and changes every day, every week, every month. It's the same with you. So it's as close to, as long as your bedtime and wake up time are around the same time, right? You don't have these big windows of an hour to 2 hours where you're going, to sleep at 10 one night, at 12 another night, at 1 a.m. the other night. If you're going to bed 10 one night, 10:15 one night, 9:45 one night, 10:30 one night, it's within that hour, it's within that window. That's fine. And consistency, right? So commit yourselves to making this a practice, a lifestyle. And I'll talk about toward the end how to do that effectively. Activity. One of the best ways to promote better sleep is to ensure you're getting enough physical activity during the day. Regular movement helps to regulate your body's natural sleep wake cycle and can make it easier to fall asleep and stay asleep. If you're sedentary, you've got all this pent up energy that you didn't get out, and you've eaten overstimulating foods. And to top that all off, you got all this mental noise going on and it has nowhere to go. It has nowhere to go. How can you expect yourself to fall asleep? It's not that easy to fall asleep when you've got all this pent up energy coming from all these areas in your life. Begin the movement. What can you do? Before you sit down at your work desk, maybe you do a few squats. Maybe when you get up in the morning, you start doing some stretches and just moving your body from some yummy stretches, just opening up. That's all you need to do. Nothing crazy, just move. Get the energy flowing so it's not stagnant. At bedtime, you start inviting a short yoga session for yourself where you can start doing some yoga poses and moving your body. Okay. Throughout the day, where can you walk a little bit more? Where can you add movement? Add it practically into your day, not separate. So this is not, oh, now I'm joining a gym. Now I'm going to join that yoga studio down the street. Now you may do that. I'm not saying not to do that, but you first want to start with the practicality of your day to day life. Where can you start implementing activity that is practical and realistic and fits into what you are already doing? This is key. Okay. So at your work desk, what can you do? Where can you take breaks in between work where you can move a little bit? Upon waking up, upon going to bed, where can you walk a little bit more where normally you don't? You'll just drive the car maybe 2 blocks down the road when maybe you could turn that into a walk. So begin to ask yourself where you can add activity. Now, once you get used to the movement and the activity, you can then start aiming to expand that. You can then join the gym, a yoga class, a yoga studio, Pilates. There's so many options. Aim for at least 30 minutes of moderate activity like walking, yoga, swimming most days of the week. If intense workouts feel overwhelming, even light activities like stretching, dancing's a good one. Maybe not in the workplace, but when you get home, turn on your favorite tunes and just begin moving. Dance. It doesn't have to feel hard. It doesn't have to feel overwhelming. It can feel fun and good. Gardening. All of that can make a difference. Instead of trying to finish intense exercise, we're going to replace the word try. I left the word try in here purposely because besides the word avoid, don't do this, avoid that, you shouldn't, the word try is another one. So instead of saying try to finish intense exercise at least 2 to 3 hours before bedtime so your body has time to wind down, welcome in uh, welcome in a completion of intense exercise 2 to 3 hours for bedtime. Welcome in. So I'm not trying, I'm doing. Okay. Trying gives us a way out. Oh, I tried, but didn't work out. We're not going to try. We're going to do. Welcome in a completion of intense exercise 2 to 3 hours before bed. Remember, movement is a natural sleep enhancer. It helps reduce stress, improve mood, promote deeper rest. So stay active and your body will thank you with better and more restorative sleep. This is a big one. And this tip I also don't hear often. Don't beat yourself up. Stop beating yourself up for being a human being. Stop beating yourself up for going through life circumstances. We're all going to have those days. We're all going to have moments where we're not going to sleep well at night, where life feels like everything's working against us that day. It happens to all of us. No one's immune from it. So if you have a rough night of sleep, don't be hard on yourself. One poor night doesn't define your overall sleep health. Even a couple of nights. If you're going through grief, you're going through a tough time, maybe a breakup, you're going to have a few hard nights. Okay. But what can you do to nurture yourself, to provide self-care? Okay. Sleep naturally fluctuates, and stressing about it can make it harder to relax. And then you start putting together an identity. Oh, I'm a bad sleeper. Oh, I can't sleep. I can't sleep. The moment you start telling yourself you can't do something, guess what? Your body listens. Your body starts to say, oh, you can't sleep. Okay, you can't sleep. And now it's going to create those circumstances where you can't sleep. So don't put those words, don't disempower yourself. Don't put those kinds of words and language into your body. You can sleep. Of course you can sleep. You're just having one or a few rough nights based on a number of reasons that I just spoke about. Could be grief, could be a breakup, number of things. Maybe you were just laid off, okay? So don't beat yourself up. Similarly, if you use a sleep tracker, avoid obsessing over the data. These devices can offer helpful insights, but they aren't always 100% accurate and can sometimes lead to what's called orthosomnia. How many of you know what orthosomnia is? It's a fixation on achieving perfect sleep, which ironically disrupts rest and sleep. So instead, focus on how you feel during the day rather than every stat, every piece of data from night. Trust that your body knows how to regulate sleep and let go of the need to control every detail. If you relax and create consistent, healthy habits, optimal sleep will follow more naturally. It's about a lifestyle, and it's about going with the flow, enjoying that flow. As I said, it's not perfect. Nature doesn't have a rigidness. Nature's not rigid. There's a flow in nature. So invite that flow into your life. We're going to be wrapping up, and I'm going to be introducing our first guest momentarily, who is one of our instructors. And as I wrap up, I want to leave you with this. Your self-identity shapes your sleep habits. This also applies to parents with children. How you view your children affects their sleep. If you say, my child is a bad sleeper, you already are limiting your child from sleeping well. Recognize that. How you see and identify with yourself or your child plays a huge role in whether you prioritize sleep. If you believe you're a bad sleeper or someone who never has time to rest, maybe your child's a bad sleeper, the mindset can shape your behaviors and keep you stuck in an unhealthy sleep pattern. But when you start seeing yourself as someone who values rest and prioritizes well-being, your actions naturally align with that belief. And when you see and understand that your child knows how to sleep and they want to sleep, they're just going through circumstances that are getting in their way, and you're going to uncover what those are to support their sleep, then that will naturally align with them. And you'll find that their transition and their ability to overcome the sleep challenge will come a lot easier than if you kept this mindset that they're not able to sleep. So this is a fun part. This is where you now can create your sleep identity. Grab a journal, and you can pause this because this recording will be up on YouTube. So this will be available on YouTube. Afterwards, you can head over to our YouTube channel at Parenting Health Institute and write down a list of qualities and character traits of your ideal sleep identity. This can also apply for your child. What does that look like and feel like? But start with yourself, because you, even as a parent, play a vital role. The energy that you put out reflects back. Who are you when you sleep well? What beliefs do you hold about rest? How do you feel when you prioritize sleep? For example, I'm someone who values my health. I am calm and centered before bed. I create space for deep rest, right? These are just a few. There are so many that you can explore, but you can start with those. Visualize and feel it. Your imagination is powerful. Those of you that are all into manifestation and law of attraction, you know what I mean. Neville Goddard. Visualize, feel it. That creates the reality. Close your eyes and visualize yourself as this person. Picture the calm, well-rested version of you. Picture your child, their well-rested selves. How do you feel waking up refreshed? What does your nightly routine look like? How do you carry that energy in the daytime? Now, what I will say is that you will be tested. You will be tested. You'll start inviting this visualization, this feeling. Something happens, something triggers you, and boom, you find yourself getting into your habit, exploding, whatever it is, not wanting to calm down. That's part of the journey. It's like going to the gym. You start lifting weights. It doesn't feel so good in the beginning, but then you get stronger. You lift a heavier weight and you're moving through those challenges. It's the same thing here. So don't beat yourself up when that happens. You will have times where you're going to start to implement a new change, a habit. You visualize, you feel yourself calm. You're on that path, and then you're tested. And when you're tested and you find yourself not aligning, accept it, welcome it in, and then move forward and continue with the intention and with the motivation and drive to seeing yourself as this sleep identity that works best for you. Now, anchor this feeling. Throughout the day, revisit this feeling. Even when those challenges come up, revisit the feeling and repeat your sleep identity affirmations. Let it shape your small choices like winding down earlier, putting away screens, or creating a peaceful sleep space. What's one small change you can make today to improve your sleep? Start with one small change. But first, recognize your sleep identity and your mindset. When you begin to shift how you view yourself as a sleeper, how you view yourself and your energy, your ability, you expand, and then you can begin inviting in these small changes one step at a time. Like I said, start with where you are. Start with where you are. You don't need to go crazy and just, I need to join the gym, go 7 days a week. I need to join that yoga studio. Start where you are. Implement those things in your everyday life, in those moments that you have, in those pauses, and then build from there. And then if you feel motivated at that point to join the gym or yoga studio, then go for it. I have some free gifts for all of you. So if you go to our bio and you go to the Stan store, okay, stan.store, Mar de Carlo, you're going to find my book, my digital copy of my book, Awakening Through Sleep, and a sleep self-assessment for both adults and children for free. You can download them directly from our Stan store. So visit the link in our bio, go to the Stan store, and you will find Awakening Through Sleep and the sleep self-assessment worksheet for adults and children, a free gift for all of you. I will leave that free gift up for the next 24 hours, actually for the weekend. I'm going to leave it for the weekend because some people will not be viewing this video right away. So I'll leave it for free for the weekend. Now, if you are interested in a holistic sleep coaching career and you want to join the organization that first pioneered these, I'm very proud to say, I'm still learning, I'm still growing, but I've been in this for 27 years and I am proud to say, and I'm not shy to say it, that I was the first to recognize that we need to pay attention to pregnancy sleep and train professionals to start working with sleep during pregnancy and not after postpartum. We're the first to launch a holistic pregnancy and child sleep certification program that now 15 years later, or our organization started 15 years later, but 2011 we launched. And so now we are 13 years later here with this program, and it's phenomenal. It's comprehensive, it's practical. You're going to go through a lot of great information that you can apply for your life, especially those of you that are personal trainers, yoga instructors, nurses, doulas. Really great. And then we also pioneered the very first integrative adult sleep coach certification program in 2015. And so you can learn more about these programs by visiting our website, parentinghealthinstitute.com. We're very passionate about the work that we do and supporting you on your path and your journey to helping others achieve optimal sleep and overcome their sleep challenges. So when you join our organization, there is interaction. We're here for you. You'll find a very supportive community that is also filled with a lot of education, practical, not just theoretical education, supporting you along that journey. Okay, so free gifts at the Stand Store link, career at parentinghealthinstitute.com. That completes my presentation. And now I am going to invite our first guest to our stage. Her name is Gulis Gulsever. She is our Turkish holistic pregnancy and child sleep certification instructor. Gulis is fabulous. She's been with us for a very long time. She has a wealth of graduates that come from talented backgrounds, pediatricians, dentists, psychologists, and so on. And so I'm going to introduce Gulis, and she's going to share a little bit about herself, her program, and we'll go from there. Hi, Gulis. How are you?
Hello, Mar. How are you? Thank you very much for all the kind words about me, firstly. On this special day, it's worth remembering that sleep is not just about rest, it's the foundation of lifelong well being. I'm truly grateful to be Turkish instructor at IPHI that pioneered the world's first holistic pregnancy and child sleep certification program. And thank you for having me here, Mar. Have a great
Oh, it is
broadcast.
my pleasure, Gulis. If you want to share a little bit about your personal work with sleep consulting, some of the things that you see, and also you have such a great team. The team that you have working with you, the graduates that you have, the amount of skills, I mean, the amount of doctors and therapists coming through the program on the Turkish side is phenomenal. I admire you so much because we've been working together for a long time, and how this program
Yes.
started and where it is today is incredible. It just blossomed. So if you can share a little bit about your work, you can even share your own website for sleep consulting, because in addition to teaching our program, Gulis also offers sleep consulting services, and she has a team of people that are phenomenal. So you can share a little bit more about that.
Thank you very much. I've graduated from IPHI actually at, I think, 2016. And I started my career. And after that, we talk about to come this program in Turkey, and I become an instructor. And I've been working as an instructor, I think for 8 years, 8 or 9 years. And yes, we have many graduates like pediatricians, psychologists, doulas, uh, so on. And also, I'm the founder of Uyuyan Bebekler in Turkey, uyanbebekler.com, and I have a team, just like you said. In my team, there's a pediatrician and so many talented people. I'm very passionate about this work, about teaching and also consulting, empower families and transform lives, actually. This is my baby,
Mhm.
IPHI, Turkish program, and I'm very happy to be here.
Oh, well,
Thank
we're
you.
so happy to have you. You've done a phenomenal job. And can you also, one more thing, just share with the audience? I know that typically most people who are not aware that you can support a child's sleep without sleep training. Can you just
Yeah.
share your experience? Because as you said, you've now been instructing for 8 years. We've had a wealth of doctors and therapists, doulas, even lactation consultants, and so on take the program. And so Can you share just their overall thoughts? Maybe what they thought sleep training was, and now maybe they're surprised that they recognize that with the holistic approach, you don't need sleep training.
Yeah, of course. No, we don't need sleep training at all. I think it's our what makes us special. Actually, we don't use any classical behavioral methods, but every baby and every child is different. We start from there and we make all the different changes step by step. Uh, and it's important for us to not force baby to sleep. Sleep is
Hmm.
very nature thing, and so we don't force them, we don't make them cry, uh,
Hmm.
or we don't use uh, how do I say in
Like
English?
forced sleep training
Like what?
methods, like time checks or
Yes,
forced,
yes,
yeah, you don't,
strict methods
yeah.
actually. It's very important, and it's what makes us special. I think we all look sleep work as holistic,
Hmm.
um, and that's important in
It
our
is very
program.
important. And
Yeah,
lastly, any feedback? I know you just recently received a wonderful testimonial from a doctor, and you've had quite a few doctors come
pediatrician. Yeah.
through. What are their overall thoughts when you're working with them directly? Are they surprised with the information they're learning? Because as I shared with our audience, most people are unaware. They think doctor and they think, well, doctors must learn and know everything. And they're unaware that the sleep education that doctors get in medical school is very minimal. And it's just based on medical aspects. It's not based on health and lifestyle and understanding the family dynamic or with an individual. So, what is generally a doctor's feedback when they're taking the program, the Turkish program?
Yes, many people, actually, many families think that doctors know a lot of things about baby sleep, but they don't. And that's why many doctors are interested in our program in Turkey. And when they see our program, most of them they say that that's phenomenal and it's very different. We don't know because we don't have that information in our education, they say. That's why they like it, and they say that it makes very different in their work.
Hmm. Exactly. I love that. I love hearing that from doctors. And I always share with people that doctors have so much to teach us. I didn't go to medical school.
Mhm.
There's a lot of information I don't know that I'm going to rely on the doctor for. But when it comes to sleep and knowing what I know I have a lot of information, and in particular, again, to the day to day customizing solutions and understanding health and lifestyle decision making that they were not taught, that they don't understand. But by going through a program like ours, now they can put it all together and they have more to offer for their patients. So I really do appreciate that. So if you can mention your website, your personal website, and then the Turkish IPHI website, provide us the website so that if you know, because we're streaming around the world, and this is going to again be on YouTube, it's on X, it's on LinkedIn. You might have a friend that's Turkish living outside of Turkey and maybe is interested in this program, and they
Yeah,
can study with Gulis, or they might not even be interested in a career, but their child is having a sleep issue. They
yeah,
speak
sure.
English, but their first language is Turkish, and we can refer them to Gulis. So if you can provide your personal website for sleep consulting, as
Mhm,
well as your
mhm.
Turkish website for IPHI.
Turkish website for IPHI is parentinghealthinstitute.turkey.com, and my personal Uyan Bebekler's website is www.uyanbebekler.com.
Okay. And Instagram handles.
uh, Parenting Health Institute, so the Turkey, you
Okay.
mean?
Yes. And then
Okay.
so with the Turkish one, the Uyam Ubuker,
Uyan
can
Bebekler,
you,
Uyan, yeah, dot
is there a place
Bebekler
to
in
put it?
Instagram.
Maybe in
Sorry.
the comments? You know what I'll do? In the comments, everyone, I will put the website. Okay. So after this is done, when I go back to the description, I'm going to put the information for both
Okay.
your
Great.
website and the
Great.
Turkish one. Okay, wonderful. Anything else you want to share, Gulis?
No, thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Thank
It's a
you.
great
Thank you for
broadcast.
all
Thank
the
you.
work yes, all the work that you're doing and building. I mean, she started 8 years ago, everybody, as an instructor, as a consultant,
Oh my
and the
God.
way and how big she's expanded is phenomenal. I mean, it's incredible. I'm just so happy to have been part of this journey with you and look forward to more with you.
Thank you for all the kind words about me. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Have a good night and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Bye bye.
All right, take care. All right, while we wait for our next guest, let's go through what I call a settling in and arriving exercise. This is an exercise that you can do throughout the day at any point in time. It's a way to become present with your body, check in with yourself. If you are someone that you know you have a tendency or habit to get triggered easily, or you know that you're someone that you're constantly on the go and you find yourself never slowing down, this is a great opportunity to start inviting this particular practice. This practice you can do either standing, and guess what? If you're waiting online somewhere, it's a great time to do it because you don't need to speak to anybody. You don't even need to close your eyes. It's an internal journey. So you can do it online, publicly, and no one needs to know about it. You can do it privately, seated, standing, whatever works best for you. What you're going to first do is ensure that your posture is aligned. What I mean by that is in order to invite in a full awareness to calibrate our nervous system, to help to regulate and calibrate it. Our posture plays a big role because if our shoulders are rounded and our chest is caved in, if our chin is tucked down, we're blocking the flow of oxygen, we're blocking the flow of energy. So if you're online somewhere, just notice your posture. Notice if you're kind of hunched over and just kind of give yourself a little lift. Nobody is going to make a big deal if you just kind of, you know, arrange your posture to open it up a little bit more. And so open up your shoulders, bring them back. Feel your feet grounded on the floor. So if you're seated, you're going to uncross your legs. If you have a tendency, whether seated or standing, to cross, hold your hands and just cross them, you're going to separate them and they're going to stay by your sides. Okay. So you have that open channel of energy. Notice if your head is tilted, if it's down, side, just bring it to the center. Unless you have a nasal restriction, you're going to close your mouth. And what you're simply going to do is first bring the awareness to your body. Feel your body. Just feel your body without trying to fix it, change it, judge it. Just feel your body. Notice where you might be holding onto some tension in your body. Just be aware of it. Again, don't try to fix it. Just be aware of it. Then bring your awareness to your breath. And as you inhale, begin to slow down your inhalation. Begin to feel your inhalation going deeper in your body. So you feel your body expanding. And then slowly begin to exhale. And the tension, anything not serving you in the moment, begins to slowly release from your body. So that's all you're doing. You're aligning your posture, connecting with the presence of your body, inhaling and exhaling through the nose, slowing down your breath. As you inhale, you're going to feel the air expanding in throughout your whole body as best you can. Don't try to force it either, right? Don't try to be like, I'm one of those people I like to overdo. So if you say inhale slowly and as, expansive as you can, I'd probably go, So it's smooth, it's flowy, it's expand slowly. It feels good. And then exhale slowly. And that's all you need to do. That's it. That can take 10 seconds, 15 seconds, a minute. The point is that throughout the day, at any point in time, make it a habit. Whenever, even on the phone, you're waiting, you're on hold, right? With customer service for something. Maybe you're waiting online. Maybe you simply just have had so much going on. You find your mind just going all over the place. Pause. You're going through a challenge. You feel like erupting. Pause. Check in with your body, with your breath. Invite the slowing down of the breath. That's all you need to do. Okay, so that is a settling in and arriving exercise. Now, earlier I spoke about the importance of moving the energy throughout the body. And when we are sedentary, when we're on screens a lot, we're going through information overload, we are processing feelings, we have responsibilities, and we're sedentary, we're not moving much, all that pent up energy can leave you feeling very anxious and overstimulated. One of the best things that you can do without even having to go to the gym or having to go through a yoga class is just begin stretching, begin lengthening, lifting your arms, opening up your chest, taking a deep breath in, lifting your chin. Exhale, sigh, release. Folding over, rounding your spine, letting everything from the head, you're holding the world on your shoulders, it feels like sometimes. Surrender. Those forward bends, those forward folds allow you to surrender and release. By the way, just so you all know, I'm excited. I teach yoga, I teach bar. I've been teaching for so long and over 27 years, okay? I'm going to begin sharing that with you online a lot more. So I have been keeping it more in person, which I love. I love in person. But a lot of you have been requesting that I teach online classes, and I'm going to be doing that a lot more along with the coaching that I do. So I really look forward to sharing that with you. So begin with those stretches, open up. So expand your spine, opening up, and then go into the other direction, releasing. As you're releasing and you're folding over, you're rounding, you're tucking your chin, you're folding over. If you're standing, you can come into a full forward bend, keeping your knees soft. Just release, let it go. Feel everything that is just build up with tension melting, like it's literally pouring out of your body and releasing. It's vital to do this throughout the day. Otherwise, you're going to keep holding, your body keeps holding on to all that. And then what happens? You want to eat things and drink things that will help to satisfy or you feel are calming you. But in essence, they're just wreaking more havoc on your body. So don't do that to yourselves. Begin with the movement, and you'll also start to make then changes with your nutrition, because once your body becomes satisfied and feels good, you're going to find that you're not going to need as many stimulants externally to put into your body once you start to move more. So you're going to add that in. Now, I do have one of our other instructors who I see is on Instagram, Laura. Laura, can you join me on StreamYard on our other platform? I sent you the link to join us there. I don't know if she can hear me, but I want to make sure that she can join us. She's the one that I'm going to introduce next if Katya is not here yet. So I'll see if, here she is. Wonderful. Okay, great. She just joined. Thank you so much. Love it. So Laura Diaz is our Spanish holistic pregnancy and child sleep consultant instructor. She also started out as a student. She's building a phenomenal business. She's also great at social media. She has so many fun reels and great things that she does. She's just an overall phenomenal person. Her motivating drive to go on this holistic journey came from the fact that she started out with traditional sleep training for her child. She started recognizing that something didn't feel right or align with her path. And then she realized that there must be something more to it. And lo and behold, she found us. And it changed her whole life around. And she began expanding her career. And now she's an instructor. And she's someone that you can learn so much from. So she's representing my program, but she's lived this, everybody. She's lived through it. And she will hear from her now. She will share with you. Hola, Laura.
Hola, ¿cómo están? Ahora cambiamos al español.
Sí. So yo voy a hablar dos. I'm going to be speaking in both English and Spanish. Laura speaks exclusively Spanish, so I will be speaking both. So when those of you hear, you will hear both. Okay. Entonces, Laura, ¿cómo estás?
Muy bien, muchas gracias por esa introducción y efectivamente, como tú contabas, yo fui estudiante del curso del programa en español de sueño infantil y maternidad y fue un camino maravilloso porque descubrí esto del sueño holístico y de cómo aplicar el sueño de una manera respetuosa y consciente con nuestros hijos, con nuestros bebés y niños pequeños.
Gracias. So basically, she said, thank you so much for the welcoming introduction. Yes, this has been a wonderful journey for me. Everything that I've learned holistically about child sleep has really changed my life and has really allowed for respectful child sleep, to have that respectful relationship. And it's opened up a lot of doors for her, and she's very happy to be here. ¿Puedes hablar un poco de la programa? Y como tu instructora, yo le expliqué a todos que usted tiene mucha experiencia, porque usted sabe cómo es entrenar tu niño y después introducir el método holístico. Entonces puede aprender mucho de ti. Puedes hablar un poco del programa y tu experiencia con todo.
Perfecto. El programa en español, bueno, y en inglés también, por supuesto, es muy completo. Y eso es básicamente lo más enriquecedor que tiene, yo creo que a diferencia de otros programas, porque también conozco otros programas que estudiantes, este es el más completo. Tiene una visión holística donde uno aprende de muchos autores, muchos métodos, y eso es lo clave, eso es lo rico, que uno no aplica un método solamente, sino que uno aplica estrategias que son para esa persona, para ese niño y para esa familia. Y eso es lo complejo y que eso es lo que llevamos a la práctica en el programa de sueño holístico, porque tenemos sesiones grupales en las cuales vemos casos, los revisamos y lo llevamos a la práctica. En el fondo,
Sí.
por eso es tan completo el programa. Entonces, al principio hay un componente 1 en la cual obviamente que nos llenamos un poquito de tareas, de teorías, ¿cierto? Pero lo vamos aplicando enseguida con algunas tareitas que vamos practicando. Y en el componente 2 ya lo aplicamos a la práctica en grupos, lo socializamos, lo compartimos y vamos viendo diferentes miradas también para complementar cada uno de los casos.
Gracias. So Laura shared that it is a complete program, and yes, it is, because we share both theory and practice. And what's really great about our program is that everything is customized to what specifically is happening to each family member. It's a team-based approach. So we look at things from all angles, from all different perspectives. We uncover the root cause of things so that we can understand what's getting in the way of sleep, because sleep is natural. Sleep is not something that needs to be taught. Now, what needs to be taught is maybe the lifestyle, how someone sleeps and regulates their sleep to fit a lifestyle. But sleep in and of itself does not need to be taught. That's a myth. Don't ever believe that sleep needs to be taught. It's a natural part of your human function. So as Laura was sharing in our program, it is extremely practical. And we present so much education. Like she said, it's a complete program, but it's very practical. And one where, like she had mentioned, it's broken up into component 1 and component 2. Component 2 comes after component 1, where together as a group, you get to explore case studies and learn and really apply everything so that you understand how the holistic methodology very successfully and effectively works.
Exacto. Lo más interesante de este programa es el cambio de paradigma que se produce y que va muy alineado con la neurociencia y con la ciencia holística del sueño, que es algo súper actual y que rompe los paradigmas antiguos del cry it out, ¿cierto? Del dejar llorar.
Yeah.
Eso es lo más interesante.
Perfecto. She said the most interesting thing is that the neuroscience aspect is very much aligned with our holistic approach and breaks up the paradigm, right? The old paradigms of the approach that you have to sleep train. Now, when you're looking at child development, neuroscience, psychology, they're very much aligning with our holistic approach. So it's great. Absolutely. We're completely aligned. We've come together now. So, Laura, por favor, puedes compartir con todos y también yo lo pongo en la descripción. Tu página de web, tu personal, because Laura also does sleep consulting. So just like Elise, she teaches for us, the Spanish program, and she also has her own sleep consulting business. Puedes compartir con todos los páginas de web, los sitios de web de los dos.
Voy a escribirla enseguida aquí en el chat, ¿puede ser o no?
Sí, y después mándame para que yo lo pongo en la descripción. So what she's going to do, she's going to write it in the chat, and then she's also going to share those with me that I'm going to put them in the description. Perfecto.
Estrellitas a brillar va muy alineado con la neurociencia, y yo represento las estrellitas como las neuronas que están en el cerebro.
I love it.
Se activan cuando dormimos bien, tenemos un buen descanso en la noche, ¿cierto? Esa es la
Love
idea.
it. The name of her company is Estrella Brillar.
Estrellitas a brillar.
Estrellitas a brillar, which means shining bright stars. And she also looks at that as like the little stars and the neurons in your brain that light up when you're conscious, when you're fully awake, when you're fully aware, right? When you get well rested. And so the name of her company very much aligns with neuroscience, and she threads that through with our holistic approach as well. So she's going to have that information for you, and I will include it in our description. Muchísimas gracias, Laura. Please, everybody, visit her page, learn more about Laura. Laura represents my program so well because, as I mentioned, not only is she in line and she learned from me and she's teaching my program in Spanish, but she's gone through her own journey. So she's lived the experience. She's been on both sides of the sleep training side and the holistic side. So she gets it and she understands. And she looks forward to being there for you and supporting you and taking you through this journey. Gracias, Laura.
Muchas gracias, Mar.
Okay, te veo. Ciao.
Bye, bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, next we have Katia Relvas. Katia is our Portuguese holistic pregnancy and child sleep consultant instructor. Katia is phenomenal. Katia has been a stellar student and graduate. Katia has also expanded and grown her business. Katia has jumped in as an instructor a few years ago and is just so supportive of my holistic approach and sharing that and spreading the word with everyone. We're the first, I'll just say it again, the first Spanish program. And I'm saying that because you're going to see other programs, and that's great. I'm glad they're out there. But, when you're the first, you got to revel in it. And I am. And I'm taking that opportunity because I've been through it all, everybody. And you have to really honor what you put out into the world. That's not being egotistical or narcissistic. That's really appreciating yourself. And for a long time, and I'll share more of this with all of you when I do more of my physical awakening exercises, because I want to empower you to be confident and to shine bright. All of you all have gifts to share. For a long time, I did not allow myself to celebrate what I put out there. I thought it was not a good thing to celebrate myself and to stay humble and hold myself back. And as a result, what happened is that a lot of people who studied with me and who maybe didn't study with me but would observe me began to try to reflect what I was doing, of course, in their own way. And that's a beautiful thing. And I honor that. But I started noticing that they were really taking a lot of what I put out there and taking it to another level in their own way and shining bright. And I was holding that back. And I said, you can't do that anymore. This was, of course, many years ago. And I recognized, I got through that low part of my self-esteem and recognize that it's important to celebrate your accomplishments. Of course, not boasting. You don't see me out there every day boasting that, but it is important to be proud of what you've been through, what you've done, what you've contributed. Okay. So we teach you that in our program, by the way. When you take our program, we want you to feel just as confident and proud. And these qualities, we support you in unraveling and blossoming within yourself. Okay. Getting back to this beautiful Katia. Katia is joining us now. And again, we're the very first Portuguese program. And so Katia will share more about that. Welcome, Katia.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. So nice to be here.
Nice to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us.
And happy international
World Sleep Day.
Sleep Day.
Yes. Happy World Sleep Day. Absolutely. So if you can share with everybody just a little bit about yourself and your journey becoming a sleep consultant and where you are today, because you've done a lot of great things. You've launched your own sleep consulting business, your own center. You are now teaching for us. So just share a little bit with our audience about yourself.
So I'm Katia. I'm Portuguese. I actually live in Portugal, and it has been a few years since I'm in this sleep world. And I'm also the instructor for the IPHI maternity and child sleep program. I love pediatric sleep. I also enjoy pretty much the adult, but the pediatric world is my thing. I also have my business in Portugal, where I do the consultations for sleep and also have a sleep center dedicated for babies, so sleep and well-being. And it's been a journey this last few years, and it's been a beautiful journey with IPHI also.
Thank you. If you can share the feedback from some of your clients that have worked with you personally, as well as some of the students and graduates who've worked with you in our own program. So both, so people can understand a bit about how the holistic approach has really positively influenced their lives.
Yeah, so the way of thinking and going through what the challenges are with parents makes a big difference in the way that we work in sleep. Both in my professional experience as a consultant, it does a big difference for families. Even just recently, we had a national news here in Portugal about bed sharing and about the fact that things have to work in sleep just in a certain way, and we shouldn't be looking at other things, and that's not exactly how we work. And that makes a big difference for the families when we are doing our consultations and everything, but also what we teach to our students. The fact that when we are looking at sleep and the way that children sleep, we need to
Yes.
look to the whole family, to the whole dynamic. And that's the main difference here with IPHI. Our students, our graduates, they will then work in a way that they will look to the big picture.
Exactly. That's right. A team-based approach. And that's vital. When you look at any sleep training method, ask yourself, does this sleep training method pay any attention to the parents' energy, to the parents' perspective about their child's sleep, to their parents' routine, schedule? Ask yourself that. And what you're going to find is surprising, because what you're going to find, and who knows, I always say never, there might be one that came out recently that did introduce this, but so far I haven't seen it out there publicly. You will find that the majority, if not all, sleep training methods do not pay any attention or focus on the parent. And the parent is a vital aspect of the child's sleep and overcoming the sleep challenge in many regards. And so our program goes into that. And as Katia shared, that has changed many lives on both levels, for both the work that she's done with parents herself, as well as teaching our program to the Portuguese students and graduates. That's really great.
Absolutely. And that's the key for a better sleep for the families. That's the key. Being able to listen and understand and be empathetic with the whole family, with everyone.
And are you finding that more and more people now are making sleep health a priority? Do you find that the interest is growing in Portugal, for example?
Absolutely. And Portugal and in Brazil, I think parents nowadays, they do see sleep as something vital and important. And many years ago, maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago, people would just be looking at sleep just like a normal thing. Well, if it sleeps, it's fine. If it doesn't, it's fine also. And today, we are looking to sleep in a different way, with some different eyes, like actually understanding the importance of it in our children's lives, and how important it is for their balance, for their well-being. And then parents start getting more attention to that, and eventually start looking for help
Yes.
from professionals. and they see that as soon as they start putting some things in a practical way, the routines and everything, they start seeing the difference. And that's when they're like, okay, this makes sense. This, in fact, makes a big difference in our lives. Yeah, so definitely,
Yes.
100%.
I love that. It is, while sleep deprivation has been on the rise and chronic sleep issues have been on the rise, at the same time, there's been so much more interest for people to overcome their sleep challenges naturally. And people are willing now to make it a priority. So this is coming, the theme for this year, making sleep health a priority, couldn't come at a perfect time, because a lot of people recognize now how vital it is and how important it is, just as important to exercise and nutrition. When I was personal training for a long time, that's how I first started out my career as a group exercise instructor and personal training. I was surprised oftentimes when a client would come to me on very little sleep, 3 to 4 hours sleep, expecting to work hard, exercise hard, expecting their nutrition to be aligned. And I say, well, how can that happen if sleep hasn't been met? Their sleep requirements. And so, yes, sleep is a vital pillar foundation for all of these things, that when you get your sleep, everything else in your life can just expand that much better and grow. You'll be better performing your exercise. You'll be better selecting your nutritious foods. You'll be better in your relationships, in your business, the productivity, and so on. Can you share with everybody, Katya? And you can either put in the chat, I'll also put in the description, your personal website and your center, so that everybody can learn more. And then just put that there. And then anyone who is interested in working with Katya, maybe someone who English is not their first language, maybe Portuguese is, we can refer them to Katya, because Katya works around the world. She can take any clients. And then also, if you know anybody that's interested in a sleep career and they're interested in working as a holistic pregnancy and child sleep consultant, it's a very rewarding career. Then you can learn more about that from our website, parentinghealthinstitute.com. And there you're going to find Katya's Portuguese program.
Absolutely. And we have many students from Portugal, from Brazil, and from other countries. We also have the Portuguese language as a base, a language, and we're happy to have you all with us. We have a fantastic program. Absolutely. That's for sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being with us, Katya.
Thank you, Mar. Have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, have a good night. I know it's late there. Take care. Bye-bye. Next, we have Aspa Kandili, who is our Greek holistic pregnancy and child sleep instructor. Aspa also once was a student, now graduate, and has expanded her business and also has grown a Facebook group. I believe it's over 23,000 or maybe 25,000. It's growing. This Facebook group is exploding. And she has provided so much help and so much support to many families around the world. In addition, Aspa has other certifications. She's very well versed in many other areas, especially lactation, breastfeeding. And Aspa will share a bit more with you her passion. Her and I are very much aligned with so much of the conscious parenting, particularly addressing peace and ensuring that families have and hold the space of harmony and less violence in their lives. And so her and I are actually, besides the holistic pregnancy and child sleep certification program, working on another project, which we're going to announce very soon. And I'm very excited about. So let's introduce Aspa. I'm going to welcome her now into our interview here. Hi, Aspa.
Hello, Mar. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for the fantastic introduction to who I am and what I'm doing.
You are very welcome. It's so great to have you here, Aspa. Can you share with everybody a little bit about your journey? You have an amazing background. You are so well versed in so many areas, and I know you've been specializing in breastfeeding and sleep. However, you really parenting all around. I mean, you're just bringing so much awareness to the conscious parenting world. So yeah, just share a little bit about your story with everyone and your overall passion or mission, and then we'll go from there.
Yes. So most of the sleep consultants, if you're checking websites and if you're listening to their stories, they usually share something along the lines of "I became a parent, and then I realized the sleep deprivation was too much, and either they got help or they had an insight that helped them to help spark the interest to become a sleep consultant." Well, my trip is a little bit different than that, because I started working as a teacher. So the first time I saw the effects of sleep deprivation, it was in the classrooms, actually, and I could see teenagers not being able to concentrate on our lessons. I started reading about chronobiology and how some people have a chronotype that is a little bit earlier, and some people have a little bit later. So I could see that in my classroom. And
Yep.
so this is where my journey started, basically, learning about sleep and its effects on health. So this year's message of making sleep a priority is certainly something that is at the center of my why I'm doing this. So later on, I also became a parent, and again, the sleep deprivation was there, but it was not something extreme. I can't say that I was an exhausted parent. I was tired, but not exhausted. But my changing, my turning point, so to speak, was realizing how different cultures influence sleep and also influence parenting. And this is because I'm living in the Netherlands and I come from Greece. So it's two different cultures, with one being very individualistic, like the Dutch culture, and the Greek culture being very collective. So I was raised in a completely different way than children are raised here. Again, I was fascinated by that. And I'm now researching how culture and identity is playing a role in our health behaviors, including sleep. And of course, the field of lactation is something that interests me, especially the end of lactation, which, much like sleep, is influenced by our parenting as well. So
Yes.
that's how I got here.
I love it. And at the very beginning, this is about an hour ago, I did a presentation about sleep health, making it a priority, and provided some tips. And then at the very end, I provided an exercise for everybody about sleep identity and how you're identifying with your sleep, and what are some of the things that you can do to be aware of how you view yourself as a sleeper, what that means even for your child, how you view your child. And I went through a few exercises that they can start doing to start to shift and change, because it's important to embrace culture. Yes, absolutely. And at the same time, it's very beneficial to see where our culture is very supportive of our growth and where our culture may hold us back.
Exactly.
So our cultures can hold us back. There's many benefits to many different cultures. So what's great about today, with all this technology and all this connection online, is that we're able to learn from one another. We're able to honor our cultures and be very proud of our cultures. And at the same time, we can also understand, what is an aspect of my culture that may have been a limitation, and how can it expand? And so what Aspa was sharing about living in the Netherlands, having also the Greek background, all of that is very helpful to expand that. I also grew up, I'm half Colombian, half Greek. I grew up in a Latin American household in New York City. And so I also very much was exposed to many different perspectives and ways of living and being that I saw similarities and a lot of differences toward. And then I learned over time on which ones were beneficial, which ones I could take on, which ones not. And so, yes, I love, and that's where Aspa and I are very much aligned, about the culture and the identity, and seeing how that really shapes and molds the choices that we're making every day for our health and lifestyle. Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah.
Can you share about your Facebook group? Because you have started and grown this incredible Facebook group that I think, again, is like 23,000 or 25,000, something,
Yeah,
somewhere
we're
up there.
almost 24,000 right now.
24,000.
Almost.
I knew it was in 24,000. And providing so much help and support. Share a little bit about this group and what this group offers. And if anybody, I mean, it's in Greek, But hey,
Yeah.
you never know. You might have a Greek friend. I mean, again, it's a international. We're international, and so you might know someone that needs this help, or you might be
Exactly.
inspired to start a group yourself. Okay, yes, if you can share.
Exactly. Yeah. So my group started actually while I was studying at the IPHI, or just when I had to how do you call it, submit my last work to get certified, and it was a passion of mine because I was so interested in talking about sleep, and I felt that there needed to be a group that is only about sleep, and especially sleep for children. So this is where I shared everything I learned, everything I came across about sleep, and of course ideas from the IPHI, and this whole idea of working holistically and working with different professionals, and looking at sleep as a holistic thing and not something that it's one dimensional. So this was very well received, I have to say, because most Greek parents didn't want to follow a rigid sleep training
Yes.
technique. I think it's cultural that they didn't want to do that. It just grew extremely fast. I couldn't even believe it, how it happened. We have a lot of questions. People submit questions every day, and right now it has grown so much that I have asked the help of other IPHI alumni to jump in and answer queries as well. So yeah, I think it's something that if someone wants to start a Facebook group, I love the platform because it allows us to have discussions. Actually, this is what I find difficult in other platforms like Instagram or TikTok, that usually you talk to the people and you don't have this interactions so much unless you have the stories and all this stuff.
Yes.
So I'm very, very happy that people have embraced this group, and it's still growing to this day.
I love it. And I love the fact that you've collaborated with other IPHI graduates. So upon graduating, she's welcomed in other of our graduates who have now become part of this group, and they all get to share their knowledge and support one another. The collaboration aspect
Mhm.
is phenomenal. I'm so grateful that you started the group, that you grew the group, and now you're collaborating with others. And it's very exciting.
Yeah, I could
And
never believe that. If you told me when I started that I would have other sleep consultants being there and jumping in and help, I couldn't believe it, to be honest.
isn't that amazing? And now we're launching very soon our Greek Holistic Pregnancy and Child Sleep Program. That's launching within a few months, probably within the next 1 or 2 months. We're going to be launching that soon. And we've had a lot of interest already. We've had people inquiring about it, and there's going to be much more support all around. And I'm very
Yes.
glad you mentioned the Greek culture, one being that is not into sleep training. There's many other cultures as well. And what's happened with the westernized perspective and information that's come out, which we understand is basically outgrown to this point because of all the neuroscience and psychology and child development information and research that's come out, is that culturally, a lot of these other countries were almost thinking that they needed to copy what we were doing with sleep training, or, maybe our culture is not doing something right. When in fact, it's been the opposite. The fact that they have felt or not fully felt aligned with the sleep training, that their culture brought them more to a holistic aspect of sleep, actually was, they were on the right path all along. They just
Exactly.
didn't know it. So thankfully, ASPA, myself, and everybody else involved on this holistic sleep mission, we get to be the ones that continue to bring this awareness and education forward, and informing people that, no, you're on the right track. You don't need to sleep
Exactly.
train in order.
Validation is so important, especially with first-time parents or parents who are feeling like they're are trying to balance things and go back to their new normal.
Yes.
Validating this, and especially using this cultural lens, can be so empowering.
Yeah, absolutely. And ASPA, I do have to mention that I'm grateful about your teaching background and what you mentioned about what's happening in the schools. Because as I spoke about earlier, sleep is that foundation that everything else builds upon. And you can't expect yourself to study well, to be in a good mood, to be productive, to have
Exactly.
great relationships when sleep's not happening. And how many of you teachers are out there that are going through something similar, that you're witnessing your students sleep deprived?
Oh, too many, too many. And
Right?
I used to work in a high school, and
Mhm.
this is now almost 10 years ago. So it was right when children started having smartphones and being
Yeah.
online the whole day, basically. I believe now it's gotten even worse. And I remember we used to talk in the breaks about children looking at us with red eyes and not being able to focus. It was
Mm,
so obvious that we had an epidemic of sleep deprivation.
yes. So all you teachers out there, this is a great opportunity to learn more and to recognize that there is help there, whether you invest in a career like Aspa did as a teacher, or whether you don't, but you begin to learn more about sleep just to bring in more education and more awareness
Absolutely.
to parents and to how you're holding the space for your class. It's going to be very helpful. So for
Yeah.
teachers, all
And
those
it's
teachers,
important for teachers as well, because teachers
yeah,
have a lot of workload, and many times
yes,
we also don't take care of our sleep. So it goes both ways,
it
really.
goes, yeah, absolutely. So we honor you teachers and thank you for all the work that you're doing to support our children. Thank you. Aspa, if you can share also about any other projects, I know you have another website besides your own. So Aspa will provide
Yes.
me links to her website. There's another website that you have. So yeah, share a bit about that with everybody.
I have built, it's now the third year that we are running. I have built a website together with the midwife Erika Kokosi. I'm saying her name in case some Greeks are watching.
Hi, Erika. Okay.
And she's a dear friend and colleague of mine. We've collaborated for so long. And our work is in stopping breastfeeding, weaning from breastfeeding. We, of course, discuss sleep as well, because breastfeeding and sleep are actually interconnected. And anthropologists talk about breast
They are.
sleeping as a new term. So we take that very seriously, and we have incorporated that. So she has the medical and midwifery side of things, and I discuss more the sleep and parenting side. And we believe we make a nice duo of
Yes, make a great
professionals, a
team.
nice collaboration. We have a website. I'm going to put it on the chat. And we also have a Facebook group. Again, because of the community, we love sharing discussions about this. And this group is also growing very fast. We have 19,000 members now.
Love
So
it.
we're very happy that we can offer that support, because most moms used to tell us that there was a lot of information about the beginning of breastfeeding and how can you succeed. There was
Mhm.
quite a lot of information about pumping, but the end
Yes.
of breastfeeding was a mystery, and everyone felt like we cannot be supported in
Mm,
this because there's not enough information. So that has been our mission from day one, to
I
provide
love that. So
information.
you're helping throughout the entire breastfeeding journey, especially the transitioning through weaning.
Yes,
You're absolutely right. I mean, there's these tips and things that are out there, but talking about the emotions involved, both on the child side and the mother side, and that I'm so happy you're offering that. That is very
yes,
much needed.
we
I
love
love.
doing that. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much, Aspa. So I'm going to share all of Aspa's information. Again, follow us to learn more, because we're going to be launching our certification program with Aspa soon. And again, if you know anyone whose first language is not English but Greek, and they either want to receive consultation, private consultation, or they just want to join her groups and learn more from her groups and receive support from the groups, or whether you want to start a career and your first language is Greek and you prefer to learn in Greek, contact us to learn more. We're so, so happy to have you. So thank you, Aspa. It was such a pleasure to have you join. So there you have it, everybody. she just left for a second. Let me bring her back on. I think she had
Sure, I'm sorry.
Okay, no worries. I was just basically thanking
Connection issue.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was basically thanking you for coming anyway. Is there anything else
Thank
you
you
want to
too.
share?
I think you've mentioned everything. If someone wants to reach out, I'm more than happy to have a chat. Whether it is because you're a parent that has sleepy difficulties, or at the end of your breastfeeding journey, or whether you are a professional looking to learn new things and make your practice even more culturally sensitive and knowledgeable about sleep, I'm more than happy to be there and chat with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Aspa. I
Thank
hope
you
you have
too.
a good night. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. So there you have it, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on World Sleep Day. It was a pleasure, an honor to be here for all of you. For those of you that came in later and you started watching the interviews, I have a full presentation on making sleep health a priority that you can view once I post this video. And if you have any questions, you want to learn more about us, visit parentinghealthinstitute.com. Also follow us. We provide a lot of tips and information from our Instagram, from our YouTube channel. We also have a Facebook for professionals. So if you're looking to just join a group, not necessarily wanting to be certified just yet, but you're interested in learning more, we have a Facebook group as well. All of that will be put in the description. And start now, not tomorrow. Start now making sleep health a priority because you deserve it. You deserve it. You are worthy just as you are, with nothing else. I mentioned earlier about being proud of what I've accomplished and put out there. One of the things I faced before even getting to that point is that regardless of what I've contributed or not, I'm worthy regardless, just by existing, just by being me. And so that goes the same for all of you. Each and every one of you, just as you are, you're enough, you're worthy. Your existence on this planet is part of a whole system, and you are valued. You may not know it yet. And when you become aware of your worth and of your value, the choices that you make and what you prioritize begin to matter. And sleep is a foundation for that. If you're experiencing any sleep issues, again, feel free to write us. We can direct you. And now to wrap this up, I'm going to answer some Q&A. So when we put our post together, we had asked all of you to send in your questions. So I'm going to answer just some typical questions. Now, what I want you to do is keep in mind that these are general questions and answers. To truly support anyone, it's important to do a thorough evaluation about that individual to then know how to properly customize a solution. Because without knowing what's really going on specifically with the person, I can throw out a lot of general tips, but they may not necessarily be proper or optimal for you. Okay. So what I'm just going to share, maybe some things you were not aware of. There's some Q&As and some things you may not be aware of. So for example, most times people believe that you must get 8 hours sleep. Like that's the optimal numbers, the 8 hours. And I get asked this question, what is the optimal hour then, Mark? Is it 8 hours? Is it 7? Is it 9? What is it? Okay. Although you're going to hear and read about the 8 hours and even see some recommendations between 7 to 9 hours, the total amount is going to vary a little bit between individual depending on many factors. Okay. This is going to be how what you're eating, what your nutritional state is, your stress levels, your exercise, right? sunlight exposure. I mean, there's so much that factors in to your sleep that in order to recognize the amount of sleep that's necessary for you and that's optimal for you, you have to take those things into consideration. So begin evaluating how you feel. You can read the tips, beautiful, look at the recommendations, but how are you feeling? When you wake up in the morning, do you feel well rested or do you still feel groggy and tired? If you feel groggy and tired, what did you eat the day before? Did you move around much? Did you get sunlight? Are you processing anything emotionally that maybe you haven't fully processed, that, maybe you're holding on to things, right? So begin evaluating. Now, I mentioned earlier my free gifts. These are free gifts for you that are going to help with these questions that I'm giving you just a little bit of general answers to. Go to the Stand store in our bio and download your free sleep assessment for adults and children, as well as my book, Awakening Through Sleep. That's going to provide you a lot more insight and guidance to how you can begin evaluating yourself and recognizing how much sleep you need. Okay. So the point here is, don't follow a number just because a doctor, expert, or some of the latest research or article says. Because remember, even research can be flawed. Research, a lot of the research is dependent on a group of people. You have to look at how many people involved for how long. Doesn't necessarily apply to every single person. So even though it's great to have that research and take into consideration, you still are an individual. You still have to evaluate and look at your own personal circumstances. What are some natural ways to fall asleep faster? The things that I shared in my presentation: sunlight, making sure that your internal clock is set first thing in the morning. What you do throughout the day supports your ability to fall asleep and stay asleep at night. So it's not just the transition to bedtime. It's what you've eaten throughout the day. It's whether you're sedentary or not. It's the amount of information you've taken in, the mental noise, all of that. That is why I took you through a daily pause. I talked about, adding those in throughout the day. With that said, you can invite in your bedtime routine, a ritual where you go through a guided meditation, breath work. Maybe you do some yoga poses for sleep. Remember, treat your sleep environment like a spa. You're headed to the spa. Change your perspective of, oh, I got to go to sleep. I have to go to sleep. Oh, I have this to do, to I get to go to sleep now. I get to take care of myself. I get to enter my spa. And begin working with your environment, setting your environment up for that, and then bringing in a ritual that will help you transition. With children, remembering that as a parent, your energy, your presence, your perspective, and your beliefs influence your child. So even though your child's sleep challenge, let's just say, maybe due to a nutritional deficiency, and that has to get sorted out, even though that may be the case, if you tune into your energy, you start inviting a calming energy in, you start inviting a full presence in that's attuning with your child, that is affirming that your child can sleep and will sleep, and you're here to support your child. And you're on this journey together and you welcome that in, you're going to notice a shift and change even on how your child responds, even though the underlying issue for the nutritional deficiency still needs to be addressed. So the point is that a parent's presence and their thoughts and beliefs, the way they're identifying with the situation and themselves, absolutely influences the outcome of their child's sleep. Can diet really affect sleep? Yes, 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 yes. Get to know your anti and pro sleep foods. We do have an article on that on our website. So if you want to know more specifics, you can visit Parenting Health Institute, go to the blog, and you can find it there, search for it and find it there. Learn about anti and pro sleep foods. What should I do if my mind is racing before bed? You may typically hear journaling, of course, mindfulness exercises. One of the first things that I support people in is just connecting with your body. And instead of resisting, okay, because you're having these thoughts of something's wrong, my mind is racing, there's something wrong. Don't look at it as something wrong or there's something wrong with you. It's an outcome of what's happened in your life, okay? Your mind is racing as an outcome. So welcome that in rather than resisting it. Actually, welcome it in. My mind is racing. Connect with your body. It's okay. No problem. My mind is racing. Don't look at it as something bad or something you have to necessarily overcome, because in that you might resist it and build more of a block to it. So instead, what you do is you welcome it in, you connect with your body, just feel your body, feel the mind racing in your body. Where do you feel that most? Like, do you feel that in your chest, in your back? Like, where does it feel? Does it feel uncomfortable? If it feels uncomfortable, welcome the discomfort in. It's okay. Welcome that in. So as you're connecting with your body, then bring your awareness to your breath. Now you've connected with your body. You've welcomed in the mind racing, so you're not resisting it. Now you work with your breath. Begin to place your focus on your inhalation, expanding within your body, exhalation, releasing from your body. And every time you exhale, you feel your mind racing, slowing down just a little bit more every time in its own natural pace. You're not trying to force it out of your body. It's just naturally happening with your connection with your body and your breath. This is why I love teaching yoga and why I love all the somatic exercises. For those of you that are coaches, even teachers, and you want to learn more of the embodied practices, we also have a program. It's under $100. There's 16 modules called Physical Awakening Tools for Coaches. It's great information that you may not have been aware of. Some of that information you can apply readily. Some of the information will lead you to more training, like Feldenkrais Alexander technique, and expand your perspective about embodiment and somatic practices and how powerful they are. And I am coming out with a book that I mentioned in 2019 when I started my journey called Physical Awakening. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be available for everybody, every walk of life. So I'm really excited to share more of that. But those embodiment and somatic practices are powerful. And when you invite those in, your mind no longer is controlling your body. Okay. Let's see what other questions came in that I can answer. What are some I think this is the one I'm going to end with. There's others, but these are more, I have a lot of that on the website. This one is a good one. What are common mistakes people make when trying to improve sleep? The first common mistake that people make when they're trying to improve sleep is overinflating the problem, okay? And I mentioned this earlier through my presentation. When you have a bad night of sleep, or if you're going through a very difficult situation in your life, like a divorce, maybe you were laid off, maybe you lost a loved one or a pet, it's natural to not get the best sleep. It's natural. The mistake that people make is to now become overly concerned that they're not sleeping. I'm not sleeping. Oh my gosh. And now that becomes another problem on top of what they've been going through. So when you experience a sleep issue, or when your child experiences a sleep issue, it's part of life. Welcome it in. Don't allow yourself to make it into something bad. It's life. We all go through things. And so invite that in. You can sleep. You've been sleeping before. you're going through a period right now where sleep has become a challenge. It's okay. You can get through this. So welcome in the sleep challenge. Don't beat yourself up for it. Recognize that you can get through this. And then you start to evaluate and learn about what you need to do to invite more sleep. Now, that could even be because, again, let's say that you went through a divorce and you're going through that grieving process and you're processing that. So that might mean more self-care. That might mean receiving outside support from a professional that can help you process it further. That might mean doing a yoga practice. Okay. There are things that sleep, when you are having a difficult time sleeping, and that's why my book, by the way, is called Awakening Through Sleep, because sleep allows us to realize what areas in our life we have been unconscious about, we may not have been aware of, that now have impacted our sleep and our ability to rest. So don't beat yourself up. Welcome in whatever's happening in your life. You're a human being. It's okay. And then you can begin to evaluate where you need support. Download my sleep self-assessment so that you can observe and have a number of questions that can help you understand where this can go to, right? What you can uncover, the root cause of your sleep challenge. If there are any other questions that I haven't answered today, please feel free to send those in because I'll be doing more videos. Otherwise, once again, thank you for joining me on World Sleep Day. It's been a pleasure and an honor, and I look forward to connecting with all of you again very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.